once again, Blackburn Rovers looking to restart their championship season, and of course, this midweek they take on high-flying, automatic promotion-chasing Swansea City. And guess what, folks? I'm really not looking forward to this one. Folks, back once again with another match preview. This time looking forward to Blackburn Rovers' latest championship match up against Swansea, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, stop what you're doing, swallow what you're doing, and subscribe. Get your bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers' latest championship related. Whoa, football related, we're going to do here. Oh no, Ruski, that's right. So yes, Rovers trying to kick on in 2021, but get back to winning ways at Ewood Park, of course. But we're taking on probably mission impossible at the moment. High flying Swansea. We'll get to that in just 1 second, of course. On a big shout out, of course, to the patrons supporting the channel behind the scenes. I think officially on paper we're up to 24 Patreons. We were up to 25, but we kind of dipped a little bit. But if you are interested in becoming that number 25th, and of course sticking around for the long haul, get in the old description down there, patreon.com/roverseas. Also check me out on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. If you just want to chat with me on the fly, talk about anything you like, talk about the Buffalo Bills, surge towards the Super Bowl, of course cooking, movies, whatever you want. Even if you just want to have a little nit-nat, just get on there with your Twitter, follow me there, and we can be best mates for life. Anyway, let's get into it, of course. Talk about it. It is Rovers up against Swansea, that's right. Goodness gracious me. Rovers, the bit of positivity left in Rovers season is, in fact, we are still unbeaten into 2021 in the league, that is. Of course, the year is only 2 games old. 1-1, drew 1. Yeah, that's the best I could do at the moment. But Swansea really do have the bit between the teeth, and they look like the real deal to get all the pissing way to at least the playoffs, I would suspect, if not more than that. Game does take place right here at the Garden of Eden. That's right, it is Ewood Park once again, and we usually play pretty well here, but for the past couple of games it's been ropey-dopey. I think since the back end of November, or even middle of November, we've not really been playing very well. We may have won a few games in that cluster, Rotherham, Barnsley, Millwall and Birmingham, but really the performances have been subpar from what we did see at the start of the season. Why is that? Have we been found out? I just don't know. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape there between these two sides. Of course, both sides playing 24 times now. Rovers still on average 2 goals a game compared to Swansea's 1. We're still banging around about 15 shots per game compared to our visitors' 11. This is both home and away. Picking up on average about 2 yellow cards, 6 corners for Swansea, 5 for us. But guess what? Who cares? Because we're shit at those. I heard on the chat with Moby last week, we spend so much time working on our set pieces. My arse, dear, takes too much time. Playing so much time practicing your short corners, which are a bag of shit. On average, picking up 12 fouls compared to 13. We were usually about found out offside a couple of times as well. That's for both sides. Aerial success rate, Rovers back on top of that, and that's a significant gap between those two sides. So guess what, Mowbray? We should be playing to our strength, and our strength against Swansea is playing in the air. They're shit at that. Look at that 46% success rate. They're also less of a possession side team compared to Rovers, and of course we have a better pass success rate as well. So everything on here smells like roses, except when you look at the table, Swansea City flying high. So you can shovel all the stats in the world, can make things look pretty, but guess what? At the end of the day, if Swansea City were to win the whole games 1-0, and all with own goals, with 10% possession football, guess what? I think they'll be singing at the end of it. Let's take a look at, of course, home versus away here now. I believe Rovers played 12 home games compared to Swansea's 12 away, and again, pretty much similar statistics as well. And yeah, pretty much, as you can see, it's pretty much carbon copy of the overall stats. Rovers ousting Swansea on shots per game. Again, Swansea averaging more corners than we do. Aerial success rate is also still prominent for us. I guess it should be as well, because we are at home. But even though the fans aren't there, so realistically, yeah, everything smells like a good, positive chance for us with this game, but I just don't feel it at the moment. Kicking on further, let's take a look at what we got here. Goals, of course. Taking a look at the goals, of course, averaging Rovers are scoring about 39 goals this season, both home and away, compared to Swansea's 29. So that looks good for Rovers in a positive light. 28 goals through open play, 3 set pieces, 5 counter-attacks, 3 penalties, and no own goals. If you flip that around now, take a look at Swansea's 29 goals, 19 through open play, 6 set pieces, 2 counter-attacks, 1 penalty and 3 own goals. We're averaging around 14.9 shots per game compared to their 10.8, sorry, and you can round that up to 11 as well. As for goals conceded, Rovers conceding 28. That is a shocking stat right there. We're scoring 39, conceding 28. Just 13 goals conceded from Swansea out of 24 matches. That's, of course, as you can see, 1 every 2. Rovers, more than 1 per game. That's not a statistic that I'm happy about. 19 goals conceded through open play, 5 set pieces, 1 counter-attack, 2 penalties, and 1 own G. As you can see, set pieces a weakness compared to Swansea's 13 goals, 7 through open play, 3 through set pieces, 2 counter-attacks, 1 penalty, and 0 own goals. We receive around about 12.1 shots per game compared to Swansea's 10. And like I said, giving away 0.5 goals a game compared to 1.2 for Rovers, with a conversion rate of 9%. Swansea's 5%. Kicking on further then, take a look at where the action zones are. Of course, action zones for Rovers coming down the right-hand side. The Nyambi effect right there. 37% down the left-hand side. I would say that's the Adam Armstrong effect. I would try and, it could be the Amari Bell effect, but I don't know. I don't think so. 25% through the middle. Meanwhile, kicking on further, Swansea coming down the right-hand side as well. Where does Jamal Lowe play? That's the key man for me this midweek. 38% on the left, 21% down the middle. As for possession-based stats here, 41% for Rovers of keeping the ball in the middle. 30% in the defensive third. Now that was not the stat at the start of the season, Mowbray. Now we're seeing the proof of the data. At the start of the season, when we were winning games, a lot of more possession was spent in the opposition third than in the own third. You're going backwards, Mowbray. You're going bloody backwards. You need to start getting back on the front foot, not keeping the ball with your Darren Lenihan and or whoever his best mate is this time. You've got to keep the ball moving forward. I don't mind it being in the middle third, but having it in your own third is not what it's all about. It was not the winning ticket. The winning ticket is getting the ball further forward in the opposition third. As for Swansea, 27% in the own third, 31% in the opposition third. As you can see, there it is in blue and white. The stats are there. 31% of the opposition third. Swansea at top of the table. Yes, that's right. 42% of the ball is in the middle third as well. That's what we more should be like. And when we had those numbers at the start of the season, guess what? We were threatening. We were pushing for those top 6 spots on a more consistent basis. Right now, with this defensive, mindset, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stand still. As for shots taken by Rovers, 59% of all shots within the 18-yard box, 37% long-range bad boys, and 4% within the 6-yard box. As for Swansea, 57% of all their shots, 18-yard box, 10% in the scrappy 6-yard Bradley Dacarino area, and 33% of their shots in the outside of the box. And as you can see from the shots, whereabouts they take place, 62% down your throat, 20% down the left, and 18% down the right. As for Swansea, 70% down the middle, 15% down either side. So take a look at the stats and figures of course, the key men this time, of course, Adam Armstrong scoring the goals, 17 goals for him this season, not too shabby. Gallagher's got 4, Elliott's got 4, and Johnson's got 3. As for most yellows, Bradley Johnson got himself 6, Lenihan's got 6, as does Douglas. Well, Douglas and Rothwell have 4. Lenihan is the one and only guy with a red. As for Swansea, 9 goals. So Jamal Lowe, of course, picked up for a bit of a bargain from Wigan, of course, 2 million, I think it was. Andrea's got himself 8 goals. Cabango's got 3. Of course, I think he scored against us as well. And Roberts has got himself a couple of goals as well. Bennett is leading alongside Fulton, Grimes, and Roberts with 4 yellow cards. And guess what? No red cards yet. But can that statistic rear its ugly head for Swansea this midweek? Of course, Charlie Chester, aka James Chester, was on the receiving end of a red card for Swansea last time around, as of course breakaway Adam Armstrong trying to get himself back into the game. So maybe he could cause the back line of Swansea some problems. We'll have to wait to see. Let's take a look at the form book then. Heading into this, of course, Rovers not very good. In fact, pretty shitty. Just won in the past 5 games, it looks like. Of course, did coming into the back of this with a draw, but prior to that, we did lose to Doncaster in the FA Cup. We did beat Birmingham at the start of the year, but at the end of the year, pretty shitty with a 2-1 loss to Huddersfield and a 1-1 draw against Sheffield Wednesday. As you see, a couple of draws in the past 2 games in the league for Rovers, not good enough. As for Swansea, it's immense. It's a beautiful bit of form at the moment. Winning 5 for the past 5 games. The only hiccup was a draw against Reading, and that was over in Wales at the Liberty. Of course, so pretty good. Of course, not conceding goals as well. Back-to-back games without conceding goals. Just conceded the 1 goal in 5 games. Airtight defence, and I think that's what you got. And it's always like that. It's always like that. When you're not scoring goals, you think, and you got an airtight defence, you think, if only we could score more goals. Right now, we do score goals, which is great. But our Achilles heel is our defence. It's been our defence for years. It has been our defence for years. Lambert came in and tried to change things up, couldn't do it. Of course, the freakazoid that is Owen Coyle came in, tried to change it up, couldn't do anything about it. Tony Mowbray's been here for 3 or 4 years, I don't even know now, and he's still not patched up the defence. We have got a good goalkeeper, commanding goalkeeper in Kaminsky. We'll take a look at the starting lineups in just a second. Let's take a look at, of course, the home versus away form here. As you can see, Swansea winning the past 3 games on the road. Just 1 defeat the past 5. Rovers just 1 defeat the past 4. That's probably the best way I can spin this one. But just 1 win the past 5 games at Ewood Park is not good enough. It's not top 6 form. We need a bit of form. We need a bit of form like Swansea are going through right here, right now. And you'll see it in fact, probably now as where they sit. They sit second in, of course, the form charts just behind Brentford. Level on points with Norwich. Forest and Middlesbrough are on the climb as well. Even though Forest, Borough have actually got back-to-back defeats, I think, or recent back-to-back defeats anyway. That's both home and away. Rovers down into, we're in the 11th spot, which is not bad, but really, you've got to be up there. You've got to be up there. Yeah, 2 wins, 2 defeats, and 2 draws at the past 6, both home and away. Let's take a look at the home form. This is where Rovers come into it, of course, sitting in 8th at the moment. Swansea's home form is actually much better than us, without a defeat in at least 6. Rovers just 1 defeat the past 6 in all comps at home. When I say in all comps, I meant just the league. So that's good. Rovers in 8th. Okay, it's not bad. It's not disgusting. But Swansea's away form, as you can see, sitting second in the table, picking up 12 points out of a possible 18. Ain't too bad. And back-to-back wins, of course, for them. Let's take a look at the recent record between these two sides now. Of course, in the last 6 games between these two sides, just 1 win for Rovers, 2 wins for Swansea, and 3 draws. In fact, you've got to go all the way back to 2018 for. In fact, scrap that. You've got to go all the way up to 2015 for Swansea's last defeat to Rovers, and that was in the FA Cup. Was I at this game? I think I could have been at this game. Chris Taylor, Rudiger Stead, and Craig Conway on the score sheet for Blackburn. Carl Barley with a couple of got himself sent off, as did Gylfi Sigurdsson, and he also got himself a goal as well. So yeah, been a while. We're overdue a win against Swansea, especially at Ewood, and this is that record against Ewood, which. As you can see, what am I looking at here? Is this right? The past 4 games at Ewood Park. We haven't lost against Swansea. We haven't yet to lose against Swansea, according to this stat here. We did play them in the Premier League back in 2011. That was our last league win against them. It's been back-to-back draws against them. Back-to-back 2-2 draws as well. Would it be a hat-trick of draws? Anything consistent out of those 2 games? I don't think so. The only thing consistent is the way the goals that were scored. Rovers taking the lead on both games. Then Swansea coming back into it and taking the lead themselves before Rovers snatch a late winner in both of them, of course. But anyway, that's the recent form. Here's a bit of breakdown, something new for the previews here. The last 8, both home and away, we've seen 3 victories for Swansea, 2 wins for Rovers, and 3 draws. Our biggest win this season, is this right? Our biggest win over Swansea has been 3-1. Their biggest win over us is 3-0. Total goals scored in those 8 games, 13 for Rovers, 16 for Swansea. We average around about 1.63 goals in those games up against Swansea compared to their 2 goals in those games as well. When playing at home, Blackburn have actually not lost to Swansea in the last 4. We talked about that. Swansea haven't lost it in the last 6. Adam Armstrong is Blackburn Rovers top scorer. Jamal has scored 9 goals in total for Swansea. Here is, of course, their journey to where we are in this season. Of course, Swansea pretty much never been out the top 6 all the season. They had a little dip right here around about match day 15, but Rovers, we peaked at match day 3 and 4 into the top 6, and that's when the dream was on. The dream was on ever since then. We've been as low as 17th all the way back in match day number 10. We've not really made up ground. We climbed a little bit up to 9th, and that's when the dream started, came back again. But right now we sit in 11th spot. We'll take a look at the table in all its glory shortly. Here are my expected match day squads. In fact, it's not really the expected. It's what I would go for. I've gone with a 4-2-3-1 here. Rovers or Mowbray's gone with a 4-3-3 on average, having 3 bog standard midfielders. But I don't think it suits Bradley. You got to play to your players' strengths. If you play Adam Armstrong down the middle, there is a weakness to this. There's quite a few weaknesses to this team. But anyway, let's go through it first. Kaminsky at goalkeeper, Douglas at left back, Branthwaite coming in, of course, Lennon and Naomi back 4. Strong back 4 right there, realistically. I've gone with Travis and Davenport youngsters in there. I'm dropping the likes of Bradley Johnson and who else. Holtby, Rothwell, they don't get into it. Two defensive midfielders with legs on them. These guys can run a little bit. They've got a bit of energy. They've got a bit of tenacity. They are very similar in regards. I think Travis still got that a much more bit of quality in it. But two defensive midfielders that should run their socks off, run for the badge as well. And then into attacking quartet here of Brereton on the left, Elliott down the right, Dak and Armstrong. I think it's pretty sexy when you look at it like that. But of course, I'm playing in the formation that we used with Danny Graham up top. He would hold up the ball. That's the weakness here. In it, if we were to have more of a hold up sort of play of a leading figure, I would maybe swish that around and use Brereton in that striker's role and Armstrong coming down the left. And I think that would be pretty savvy. And in all honesty, I think that's the only other system we have in our locker. I have noticed over the past few games that, of course, a lot of teams preferring three at the back. And I think that's something that we could also explore in a formation just like this. But we need, again, additions at the back. And right now we only have two fit centre-backs. One's on loan, the old Loney Branthwaite. But come back Derek Williams, come back Ayala, come back Scotty Wharton. And then we have 5 names to rotate into those 3 positions if we were to go down there. But again, it's not on the agenda right now. And again, this formation, when I played up against a 3 at the back, has proved difficult for Rovers to break down, especially with the 4-3-3. Anyway, let's have a look at their team. Woodman between the sticks, good, solid goalkeeper. In fact, one of the best in the division, I think, at the moment. Guri, Cabango and Norton make up your back 3. Bidwell, Roberts, Fulton, Grimes in the middle with Smith pulling some strength in there. Jamal Lowe and Ayew up top, goals in there. Of course, Jamal Lowe could have been a Rover if we had the bit of money, but we didn't. We decided to go for, who did we go for? I don't know. Who cares? Doesn't matter. That's whole history. Let's take a look at what's going to happen at the end of this game. Rovers will, in fact, I've included it. Rovers will go to Middlesbrough on the 24th of Jan. That'll be live on Sunday. And I'll have a watch along for that bad boy. Then it's Luton, QPR, and Preston North End. Still, after this one, I'm not including this one because I think this is a difficult game, Swansea. But after it, those are winnable games. 4 winnable games. You could realistically shout 10 points out of those 4 games, if not more. If we were to get a Brucey bonus and win on Tuesday, I think somehow by hook or by crook or by just COVID being around that we could be back in this in the playoff race again. As for Swansea, they'll be taking on Nottingham Forest on Saturday. Then they have Brentford, of course, difficult game. Rotherham, of course, difficult to play away, and then up against the leaders Norwich and Sheffield Wednesday. So a couple of real difficult ones there for Swansea to navigate, but fortunately for them, they're both at home. You've heard a little bit what I've had to say. What about the fans on social media? Let's have a little look at what they have to say. Of course, over on the brfcs.com forum. Let's head over there. Of course, if you check out the Swansea City home thread, you'll see a whole bunch of guys commenting. It's still fresh, very, very early. The thread only started about a day ago. Philip L said, we usually use games which I start match threads for, so I guess this is a free hit. The only game I have seen this season where we have ambiguously the worst side, not that the race is totally outclassed and outplayed, was Swansea away. So there's little reason to believe Tuesday night will be any different. Venue is a ploughed field near Lowendown or remote in your living room. Weather outside cold, but it's that academic because none of you allowed out anyway. Yes, we were particularly badly hit by injuries at the Liberty then, but so were they. I guess we might be surprised to discover our returned walking wounded are better than theirs. So hope springs eternal, but then snubbed out by their boss, blooming in the meantime, while ours has wilted to a shrivelling, gurning presence somewhere near the tunnel. As for selection, I prefer Davenport alongside Travis than Johnson, but I guess we might get Buckley, who probably will be an upgrade on Johnson on current form. And if it is essential to have somebody hugging the touchline in the Mowbray world of playing as though we actually have wingers in the squad, then I'd opt for Brereton over Rothwell, who has to have the option of space either side of him to really impress himself. Possibilities for this one: 8% defeat, as Swansea did put an automatic promotion a mere 16 points out of our grasp. 90% draw and 1% the moon is made of blue and white half cheese. Meanwhile, Tormund said, I think we'll lose. They look pretty good at the minute. We'll probably have too much for us. Simon Gunners of 194 says, watch us pull out a win out of the bag to bolster the Mowbray Aistas. Meanwhile, Hoochie Belucci Mama says, 7 p.m. kickoff. You don't want to tune tune in at 7:45 and miss another of our scintillating first half displays. Another team with a good defence, 1 goal conceded in the last 5. They've lost to Derby and Borough in the last 6 away, so they're not inflatable. It will still be a tough game though. Rovers 1, Swansea 1. A draw will be a good result for Moggers men. Meanwhile, Big Dog Steel said this is a typical one we would win to stop the rot, but it feels like things are different this time. Draw at best. The misery continues. Jack Canori says this, couldn't care less. A season that promised so much is over already. Davil Circus said this, I think we'll take a slight hammering here, maybe a 3-1, but we'll be second best all game. Matt 83 said this, it's all about the journey, slow and steady, he says. DC says, just watch their highlights on Quest, they'll muller us on current form. The mighty Chaffage said that the wheels too well and truly come off in this one. 3-0. Charlie Rovers has got his own lineup there, and of course there's other bits and pieces to get your teeth into, of course, and that's just a little bit of what they have to say. What about the Digicast? What does she think about this game? She's got her own prediction, and it is now. Let's go, Digi. What else is going on out in the Championship? Let's take a look at, of course, the flattering figures that fail to deceive. Of course, Rovers sitting second in possession charts, 55.8% possession. But guess what? You can have all these numbers going in your favour if you don't do anything with it. 55.8% possession. Norwich are leading the charge, and they're also leading the charge in the league. They're doing it the right way. 57.9% possession, and of course, top of the polls. Bournemouth also doing very well, as are Bradford. Huddersfield are on the climb, even though they're going a bit of a ropey-dopey form at the moment. So guess what? We are fake. We are the fakesters in that chart there. As for the aerial duels one, Rovers are sitting 4th again. I don't see how. I don't see why. Maybe because we don't go in for them. Maybe we go in for one aerial duel every 2 matches, and we win one of them every 4. That's why we're in 4th spot. I don't see where we're winning these. We're set pieces. We don't do any of those bastards. We always play it on the flipping floor. I don't get it. If we're that good at aerial duels, why aren't we flinging the ball in for corners or free kicks or something? Goodness gracious me. Cardiff lead the charge there, 58.9%. As for shots per game, again, the Rovers are in 2nd spot on this one. I don't know why we're not up that table. 14.9%, 14.9 shots on average per game. Norwich lead the charge by a convincing distance, 16.3. Bournemouth, Brentford also on the climb. Forest are doing well now. They are starting to turn the corner with form. As for the pass accuracy, again, Rovers are flattered to deceive, sitting in 5th spot here. Norwich, Reading, Brentford, all playoff/promotion chasing teams. Rovers, just they're fakers to the makers. And then the most aggressive side is Stoke. Anything on here for Swansea? No, Swansea are not in here, but guess what? You know where they are? They're sitting pretty at the top of the table, of course. Here is what's going on elsewhere this weekend, or this midweek. Reading up against Coventry. If it goes ahead, we'll have to win. See, Derby against Bournemouth, of course. Wayne Mooney's Derby up against possibly Jack Wilshere, who's on the cusp of signing for Bournemouth. Rotherham against Stoke. Watford against Barnsley, that'll be difficult. Norwich against Bristol City, also very, very difficult. Forest against Middlesbrough, of course, in the Karanka Derby there. Cardiff up against QPR. Brentford up against Luton, Huddersfield against Millwall, and Birmingham up against Preston. Those games all take place on Tuesday and Wednesday, and here it is in all your glory. Swansea sitting in a 2nd spot, and guess what? No matter what goes on in this match, they will be in 2nd spot. They can win it, or they can lose it, they can draw it, they'll be there no matter what. As for Rovers, we're in 11th. For us, we could mathematically go up to 7th, and guess what? That would get me daydreaming once again, that we could maybe just sneak into the back door of it. Of course, we'll be praying and hoping and twisting and doing everything that we could hope that Watford, Reading, and of course the chasing pack. In fact, I don't care about the chasing pack. As long as Watford and Reading have a nightmare and they don't get the results, then maybe just to keep that gap at possibly 4 points, then guess what? We can maybe start to dream again. Of course, what else is going on? Down the foot of the table, Wycombe, Derby, Rotherham going down as it stands. Sheffield Wednesday have made the climb out of the relegation zone. I don't even know who their manager is at the moment, so that's all to be decided. As for the top of the charts there, Adam Armstrong leads the charge alongside Ivan Toney, with both of those guys getting 16 goals this season. Lucas João, though, is probably the more informed striker out of those the whole out bunch right there. Got himself 13 goals. Look at Jamal Lowe up there in 6th spot with 9 goals for Swansea, and Andre Ayew as well. Combine those goals together, and guess what you've got? You've got a leading goal scorer between them. As for the most assists, Elise, Elliott, Mbembo, Mwenda, and Campbell lead the charge there. Of course, Tyrese Campbell out for the season. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I've got for you today, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up. And if you're new, bang your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related. Whoa, football with it all here on the Warm Brewski, of course. Now, we are planning on doing a watch-along for this game, but I don't know yet. It's not confirmed. It's not 100%. I've got some stuff to move around a little bit to make sure that happens. So if it does go ahead, make sure you check out the channel, smash the subscribe, hit the little bell so you don't miss a beat. Come watch the game with me. Come watch when Rovers lose the plot up against a high-flying Swansea in what's bound to be a goal-tastic display by the Welsh, of course. But anyway, until then, be sure to give the video some love and smash that thumbs up, smash subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next time, which will be previewing Middlesbrough, which is live in front of the cameras on Sunday. Until then, though, I'm out.